At the dawn of the Renaissance, in the second half of 14,000, the municipality of Soncino played a leading role in the suffered borders balance between the Duchy of Milan and the Republic of Venice, and often found itself to be a thin bulwark between the Duchy of Milan and the Venetians' domain of Crema and Brescia. The significant historical importance is testified by the presence of monuments of great value, but above all by an impressive defensive walls circle, which still grows the entire perimeter, close to the extreme southwest by the colossal Rocca Sforzesca. In reality, the impressive fortress Rocca Sforzesca of Soncino was built in a very short time, between 1473 and 1475, for the will of the Duke of Milan, Galeazzo Maria Sforza, as well documented by the Soncino's historians. The design of Bartolomeo Gadio, maximum engineer and architect of the Sforza, he respected the traditional standard of the medieval fortress, so not really at the forefront of the defense techniques against increasingly powerful artillery, but it is precisely the innate obsolescence to make our utmost monument even more fascinating, and that is impressive, but at the same time slender, with very deep moats and towers. In this charming and magnificent architectural environment can certainly be missing the presence of a very special artifact, a tiny and seemingly insignificant but really brilliant and perhaps the only one of its kind, the escape bridge. It is a bridge designed to be submerged by the water of the moat, forming a path just under the surface of the water drain. Our elaboration of the drawing of the architect Beltrami that worked on this project at the end of the 1800s shows how the West Dam, sunk during the last century, could maintain the right level to submerge the breach. From the captain's tower through the steel viable stairway, obtained inside the same thickness of the wall, the last handful of defenders reached a small drawbridge. Today it remained the typical housing veins for the lifting bars of the breach. Once they had lowered the small drawbridge, they passed on the top of the escape bridge slightly sunken, so they could furtively earn a salvation away, probably passing subsequent underground passages, whose identification will be the aim of further studies and polls. The first concern has been to prevent the western arch, that actually reduced to a thin set of fractured brick and mortar curses compromises before it collapsed. Then we designed a strong shoring because we also had to get off the slightest movement of the bricks. The project was approved by the municipality and the superintendent. And the work was performed thanks to the sensitivity and the generosity of a local company, which it took all on charge, materials and labor. To perform the shoring, we established the executive consolidation and restoration project of the escape bridge. After the approval of the superintendent, we faced the problem of financing. Thanks to the municipality of Soncino, we participated in a tender of the Lombardy region, and our project resulted among those chosen as worthy of funding. And that is how finally, in November 2015, work was begun. It wasn't easy getting started. It starts from an archway in poor conditions, with a degradation of old mortars connections as well as fractures in many bricks, which portend an imminent collapse. The goal is to combine mortar and bricks from small protrusions and ensure that the subsequent extensions lead back to truss of massive stacks without bricks that has large cavities to saturate. In addition to the welding work with mortar and bricks, to be sure of the solidity between the new work and the old structure, we include steel pins immersed in the welding resins, so the new to the existent. The slender silhouette of the existing arch is progressively incorporated in the reassuring embrace of two new arches, rising progressively in key, or both in the north and south sides. And finally the arch, in its structural part, has achieved the primary objective to stand with solidity and with a satisfactory degree of security. They carry radial holes of controlled depth according to a mesh able to intercept both the new bricks that ancient ones in the most suitable points. An operation of widespread connection to be certain that the ancient bricks can show to the sturdy arches just performed. The strongness of the arch is guaranteed. Similar operation of sewing and reinforcements are made, and ever the master extended, digging up the living surface of the massive piers and from this, up with new brickworks, ribs until we reach the arches, creating more weldings and metal structures so to ensure consistency between the masonry bands. And when the structural requirement permitted, short sections of bricks rows are simply anchored with steel pins, as support of strips of old bricks that risk to flake. Above the arches, to be in accordance with what has been achieved in the 400, the broken bricks that were in time detached for the manufacture and is now provided by a very similar coverage but irregular, not being strictly necessary to effective workability in the escape breach. And comes the time of sealing the mortar joints. First of all, always use the highest quality materials, special historic lime mortars and micronized natural pozzolan, with cement mixed with pure and fine sand. Then after dig each track of mortar, releasing it from the piece already disintegrated, cleaning it but creating a hearty pointing that protrude from the courses themselves, so pass from this to this. The one must still pass it once, scraping the excess growth and dowing slightly depressions, flat horizontally and vertically, taking care to create waterways so snow and rain can never create stagnation. The work is finished, and meeting even the procurement times. The bridge looks at the background of the ruins of the western dome, now unrecognizable, sunk during the last century.